Hi everyone, my name is Eric, and today I will be reviewing the Dromeda Kodo quadcopter. If you guys do like this one, I included a link in the description down below where you can find one for the best price. This one does come with a standard definition camera. Now it does come with a 2GB micro SD card and a USB adapter, so you can just plug it into your computer and pull off the videos and photos onto your computer. And you cannot view this camera real time. This is not an FPV or a first-person view quadcopter. I love how this quadcopter flies, but I have to point out one very important thing before I get into the rest of the review. And I'm not alone on saying this because I've already read some reviews of this happening to other people. The problem is when this drone loses signal, it'll keep flying at the speed in the direction that it last remembered. Now, this is a big problem if you're flying forward and up. It'll just keep going to a galaxy far, far away. If you have this quadcopter and it does the same thing to you, or if you noticed it eventually powering down after a couple seconds, please let me know in the comments down below because I actually did end up losing mine on the first flight. Most quadcopters that I've tested will bring the power down to 0 when they lose reception, which for me is usually over a grassy field. In the flight video, you'll see the quad lose reception and it just keeps going in the same direction. Now, after losing reception, if it just fell to the ground, I would have been able to recover it. But because it just kept flying in the same direction, I lost it. Now, a great alternative to the Dromeda Kodo is the Syma X11, and I'll put a link to that video review in the description down below. It's similar in size and performance, and you can buy it with or without the camera. It's around the same price as the Dromeda, and the blade guards I feel are a lot better at protecting that quad. Now, you're not going to have that problem with the reception if you're flying inside, as long as you have plenty of room. The blade guards are included, but they're weak and they bend pretty easily, so you don't want to be flying this thing around pets, people's faces, or breakable items. Because with the extra weight of the camera, the motors do have to work harder and the blades have to spin faster, which makes it just a little bit more dangerous than lighter weight quads. Now, I don't think it's a great quadcopter for beginners because of its speed, but if you have some experience flying, then you'll really enjoy how this quadcopter handles. A beginner flyer will think this quad is twitchy and hard to control. The Syma X11 has more of a buffer and will accept more mistakes with the control inputs. The design of the Dromeda actually reminds me a lot of the Proto X mini quadcopter. They both have that stripped down minimal design that makes them very quick and responsive. The controller wasn't anything special. I actually found it difficult to hold comfortably in my hands. They designed it this way so you could easily switch the throttle to the right side by flipping the mode switch and then turning the control over. Now, for most people, if you're wondering, you'll want to fly in mode 2, which will put the throttle on the left side of the controller. This is usually the default setting for pretty much all the quadcopters out there. Now, there is no on and off button on the quadcopter. It will turn on once it's plugged in and paired with the control. Now, make sure to lay it on a flat and level surface to prevent having to put in extra trim while flying. Once the battery is plugged in and the controller is on, simply bring up the throttle and then bring it all the way down to pair it. I never got a chance to test a full battery since this quad left me during my first flight, but it's advertised at about 6 to 8 minutes depending on how aggressively you fly it. So that's where I'm going to end it. We'll get into the flight review right now. If you guys do have any questions, please just leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you found the video helpful, I always appreciate a thumbs up.
When you guys first turn this on, there's 2 modes. There's mode 2 and mode 1. Just be very careful because if you ever turn this on in mode 1 and you have the throttle all the way down, this thing is going to take off and it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going. So really make sure you want it in mode 2 if you want the throttle over here on your left. This is a mistake that I've made, and luckily it was inside. It just flew up, hit the ceiling, and then crashed. But I have read some reviews that people are unaware of this, and they do it outside and it just never comes back. So something to pay attention to. Okay, this is we're starting on low mode. It's an extremely stable quadcopter. A little bit too fast, I would say, inside, unless you were flying in a really big room. The stability is excellent though. I think a big complaint that a lot of people have is, they're probably beginner flyers. So they're flying this for the first time and it's just so fast and so twitchy, which to some people, that's actually a good thing. I mean, the performance is really good. There's actually a hummingbird checking it out right now. it's just, it doesn't have that little bit of a lag that some beginner flyers really like. You know, it's just when you press forward, this thing just goes. It's like a sports car. You don't want to learn to drive on a sports car. So even in slow mode, this thing just gets up and goes, no hesitation. Let's go ahead and do some flips. Let's get a little bit closer. The breeze is starting to kick in. I'll do a back flip. Really nice and tight flips. Go ahead and do a front flip. I'm gonna face into the wind. All right, here we go. So nice and tight flips. It actually puts in some throttle for you so it doesn't lose too much altitude. So there's really not much correction you have to do. So side flips, no problem. Back flips, no problem. Here comes the wind. Okay, let's get back. Really nice, especially for this size, this mid-size quad. Fly around the tree. Okay, let's go ahead and put it in fast mode. And this thing just, I mean, this thing just takes off. Look at that. Fast mode. It's insanely fast. Okay, let's do some yaw. So yaw is average. It's about as fast as you'd want it to go. You don't want the yaw too quick because then it's just impossible to tell which direction it's going. The lights are not very obvious on this. So especially during the day, you cannot see the LED lights at all. Those, the two front white propellers, they do help some with orientation. Let's see if I can go full, open it up full throttle. Okay, we'll go full forward. Whoa, became a little bit unstable there. Uh-oh.